Hi everyone and welcome to another video. My name is Elreen and in today's video I will be working on my mid-year bullet journal setup. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you enjoy bullet journaling, stationery, haul videos, and arts and crafts of different kinds, you might be interested in my videos and I thank you in advance for checking out my content. I plan to post this video after I filmed it back in July for the start of the second half of the year, but time kind of got away with me as I got quite busy and didn't feel motivated. But you know what, better late than never, and I'm trying to get back into the groove of things. The first spread I am setting up here is the cover page of my journal, which is there to basically set the tone for this journal and the theme I chose. I decided to go for a whimsical fantasy castle theme, as you'll see the stickers I am using are the main inspiration for this theme. For this cover page, I wanted it to look like the first page of a fantasy storybook. Here are the stickers that are the inspiration for this theme. I bought these stickers at a bubble tea shop in Montreal that also has another shop within it selling blind boxes, cute stickers, and plushies. These stickers are stunning and I just love fantasy themed anything and everything. I knew I had to make bullet journal spreads with these stickers. The only thing I would say is that these stickers didn't come pre-cut, so I had to spend a lot of time cutting out these stickers individually with my X-Acto knife. I used this pink watercolor design scrapbook paper on the edges of both pages for this spread. Over the scrapbook paper, I am sticking this frame design I found on Pinterest and printed out on a regular printer paper. I actually found this frame design in my stash of ephemera and scrap paper and I figured it would go great with my theme, so why not use it and print out more. With my handy dandy corner punch, I rounded out the corners of the pages where I stuck the scrapbook paper. Next, I'm using a fine tip marker to line the title of my cover spread, which is 2024. I used the font I found on Canva for the numbers. The font is called Abril Fatface, which is a weird name, but that's what the font is called. I copied and sketched out the font on a spare piece of paper so that it'll be easier to cut out and stick on the page. Now I'm just coloring in the title with the broad tip part of my black marker. After cutting out each of the numbers, I'm using my glue tape to stick the numbers at the center of the page. This glue tape was giving me such a hard time, I was struggling with it for quite a bit. The glue wasn't dispensing no matter what I did. I think it was getting stuck to like the upper part of the tape that should be wrapping around one of the cogs. But yeah, I don't know. Eventually throughout the video you'll see I had to switch to a regular glue stick to save me the trouble. So the sticker sheet that I'm using came with a lot of small decorative stickers like little stars, moons, hearts, and jewels. So before finishing up this spread, I'm filling up any empty spaces with these stickers. I think by doing so helps make the spread look more complete. That's it for this spread. Let's move on to the next spread, which is my future log. This future log will include just only the last 6 months of the year since there isn't really a need to include the first half of the year. I decided it would look cool to have a Dutch door for this spread. I planned out where each month of the year will be placed to make sure I'm cutting out the right page and right spot. I'm using scissors to cut out the bigger chunks of the page and then going in with a craft knife for the parts I couldn't get with my scissors. I'm placing a spare piece of paper beneath it so I don't cut the page underneath. I like to save the spare pieces of paper I cut out for other uses later on. Next, I'm ripping some more scrapbook paper, this time with a grey damask design on it. I'm planning where each piece will go since I only have 4x4 inch or 10x10 cm squares of each piece of paper. The scrapbook paper that I'm using came in a little booklet or block with other designs on it, which I bought at my local dollar store, or if you live in Canada, at Dollarama. So there are only 5 copies of each design, therefore I have to be a bit mindful about how I use these designs for my spreads. I'm using my alphabet wooden stamps and black ink for the lettering of each month. I decided to go for vertical spaces for each of the months to list out any important events and birthdays. I don't have too much to write in this spread and I quite enjoyed this layout compared to the horizontal spaces. For each of the months, I'm stamping out the dates of the month, which I'm glad I have so I don't have to write out each of the days by hand. If you were wondering, I used 11 by 28 grid spaces or 5.5 cm by 14 cm for each rectangle, with 2 grid spaces or 1 cm space in between each rectangle. With my Sakura Pigma Micron in 03, I'm lining out each of the boxes with a ruler. Now it's time to stick the scrapbook paper I measured and cut out earlier. I think at this point I gave up on my glue tape and opted for my glue stick instead. Using the same font as on the cover page, I wrote out the title Feature Log with my black marker and I'm sticking it to the top of the page. Next, it's time for the stickers, of course. This time I'm using warm-toned pink shaded castle stickers. This sticker sheet is very similar to the pink castle sticker sheet, just with slightly different designs. I placed the larger castle stickers at the bottom of the spread to not take up too much writing space within the boxes, and I placed smaller stickers throughout the page where I thought it looked empty. For example, since the word log is a shorter word, it was perfect to place a sticker right next to it. To finish up the spread, I'm going in with a pastel pink midliner to highlight every other line. I think this helps make the spread look fuller and complete this way. But I do have to say I was struggling making straight lines while doing this, largely due to my camera setup being in the way and not being able to write as comfortably as I'm used to, but it'll do. Here is how the spread turned out with the little Dutch door. Now on to the next spread, which is my goals page. I used the same font to write out my word of the year, which is reclaim. I'm not going to go into too much detail as to why I chose this word for myself this year, but in short, this word resonated with me a lot with its meaning, taking back control of aspects of life that may have been neglected or overlooked, restoring ownership over one's path. Beneath the title, I left some space for me to write more about my chosen word of the year off camera. For my goals, I dedicated 4 spaces for the main categories I wanted to address this year, which are personal growth, career, socials, and hobbies. Since it's the last half of the year, this spread will be used to reflect on my goals I had previously set for myself, any progress I've currently made, and any changes that need to be made to my goals to better suit my needs. With my Pigma Micron, I traced out the boxes for each of the categories, which are 12 by 22 dot grid spaces, or 6 cm by 11 cm, with 2 grid spaces or 1 cm spaces in between. To maintain the cohesiveness of my theme, I'm again using the pink scrapbook paper all around the edges of the pages, as well as the same frame design from the cover page but smaller. Using my wooden alphabet stamps again, I'm stamping out the title goals over the boxes before decorating the page with more castle stickers. I tried to keep the larger stickers in areas that I wouldn't need too much in terms of writing, like the top left and the bottom right, to ensure that the page is still functional while having decorations. Here I am writing each of the categories for my goals with my Muji gel pen in 0.5. And there is my goals page. Moving on to the next spread, which is my reflections page. I'm going to be following the same style as my feature log, using the same damask paper to create a border around the page. The boxes I am tracing out are 24 by 16 dot grid spaces or 12 centimeters by 8 centimeters. This page is meant to help me reflect on the first half of the year in terms of my achievements, things I'm grateful for, lessons I've learned, and changes I've gone through. It's quite different from my goals page as it'll help me reflect on the positives that have happened during the first half of the year and set me up to continue with this mindset for the rest of the year. Again, I'm using my alphabet stems for the title for each box. I'm writing out achievements, gratitude, lessons, and changes. I don't know if it's just me, but I like the look of the letters not being stamped on straight. I find that it gives the titles a bit more character, which I find really nice. Since I used more spaces for the boxes to write, I'm only adding a few small stickers throughout the page as decorations before moving on to the next spread. This is my 2024 highlight spread where I'll be adding a picture to represent a highlight from each of the months. This spread has been my favorite in my yearly Bujo setups once it's fully completed at the end of the year. I just love getting to see all of the highlights from each of the months. All of the pictures look really nice as if it were a gallery in a museum. I used one of my Polaroid pictures to trace out a layout for where each of the pictures will go. Each of the spaces are 11 by 17 dot grid spaces big or 5.5 centimeters by 8.5 centimeters. Here's me realizing that I made a mistake while tracing out one of the spaces for the Polaroids, but not to worry, I'm just going over it with my white gel pen to cover it up. As usual, I wrote out the title 2024 on a separate piece of paper and I'm writing out highlights right underneath with my stamps. In each of the spaces, I'm adding the title of each of the months so I know where each picture will be placed. At the bottom of the page, I'm highlighting every other line with a pastel pink midliner. This is where I'll be writing out the highlight of each month. As you might be able to tell, I made a mistake on the left side of the page while highlighting. I accidentally skipped a line, but that's okay, I'm not too bothered by it. If it bugs me more later on, I have some scrap dot grid paper I can use to stick to the page and cover it up. Lastly, I'm adding some more stickers throughout the page. Since this spread will be filled up with Polaroid pictures, I'm only adding small stickers here and there. Now let's move on to my second to last spread of this bullet journal setup, which is my check this out spread. I decided to make this spread as I noticed I had been watching a lot of anime, movies, and shows, and reading books and playing different games. So this is simply to keep track of the media I've consumed and enjoyed throughout the year. This spread has the same layout as my reflections page. This time I'm using the pink paper around the spread and lining out each of the 4 boxes with my Pigma Micron. Each of the boxes are titled using my alphabet stamps once again, with the titles being anime, shows, and movies, books, and games. To finish off the spread, I of course need to add some more small stickers and to round up the corners of the pages where I stuck the scrapbook paper. And that's it for this spread. Last but not least, I'm going to make my brain dump spread. I had a need for this spread as I noticed I've been coming up with a lot of ideas for my journaling and other creative projects. I wanted a space in my journal where I could have all of my ideas together. These 2 pages will mainly consist of decor as I don't need too much structure when using this spread. I used the last bits of scrapbook paper I had left in the grey damask design, as well as the borders and the castle stickers. I wanted to use up the stickers I had left as much as possible, so I added quite a bit of them. I find that it fills up the page really nicely. And that's it for this bullet journal setup. Let's do a final flip through of each spread. To recap, for this new journal setup, I made a title page, a future log, a goal spread, a reflection spread, my 2024 highlights, a check this out spread, and finally a brain dump spread. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope I was able to inspire you in some way and provide you with some ideas you could use for your own bullet journal setups, perhaps for the start of 2025 since this video is late. I appreciate you so much and have a great day or night. Thank you again for watching. Bye!